My name is Peter Zimroth. I am a professor at the NYU Law School, and I'm also the director of the Center on Civil Justice. And to my left is David Siffert, who is the director of research and projects at our center. And what we're here to do today is to show you a project that the center has been working on for quite some time. And I want to first tell you just a few minutes about the genesis of this project, and then I want to turn it over to David to show you, demonstrate some aspects of this library. So in the fall of 2015, we had a conference not so different from this at NYU Law School at the center, and it was attended by some of the leading practitioners and lawyers and industry people and regulators and academics and judges. It was a very well attended conference, and at that conference, some people who starring at this conference were there too. Selvin Seidel was there. Lee Drucker, I don't see Lee. Has he spoken already? Yesterday, Lee Drucker, Tony Seebach, who was on last panel, and Tim Saranton, who also was on last panel. And at that conference, there was a lot of discussion, both at the panels, but also a theme arose out of that conference, which was the lack of easily accessible information about the industry. And this was a problem, and what I'm saying to you now is not what I'm saying was a problem. This came from the industry people who said this is a real problem. It's very important from the industry's point of view to dispel the aura of secrecy that surrounds the dispute financing industry in order to gain legitimacy in the eyes of policymakers and others, but also, ironically enough, for the industry itself to get a handle on what's going on elsewhere in the industry, because there's so many silos, and you heard a lot about them here today. Some people do consumer financing. Some people do bankruptcy, mass torts, arbitrations, all these different areas, and some people specialize even in the arbitration area. They're subgroups, people who do international arbitration. Some people specialize only in the US. Some people deal only with sovereigns, or primarily with sovereigns. And although all of those areas are different and have different attributes, they also have attributes in common, and people in the industry can learn from each other. So out of that conference came this notion that there was a serious need for a neutral, trusted party to be a repository for data and information about the industry. And so we undertook that project, and it turned out to be a mammoth undertaking, way, way, way more than I expected it to be. You think, okay, so what's the big deal? You have an online library, and you put articles and statutes and whatever up on the website, but it's not so simple. First of all, we had to collect what was out there, and there was no. That's why there was a need for what we were doing. There was no one place where we could look and say, okay, this is all of the information there is publicly available. We're talking about publicly available now, even only articles, statutes, law reviews, hearings, et cetera. Then we had to check copyright status for all of that. Then we had to obtain permission to put things up when they were necessary. Then we had to think a lot about who could upload, because we wanted this to be an interactive library. People could upload documents as well. We were actually want to encourage people to upload, but we have to be very careful about who can upload, what kind of screens we have so that the site doesn't get misused. And then there's the whole issue of designing the site, which is not so easy, because we wanted this to be an interactive site in many ways and adaptable to change. We are very much hoping that once this goes online, once this goes online, we will invite the users to participate in the further development. What is it that we are missing? What is it, not only what documents and so forth are we missing, but what is it that we are, how could it be displayed better? What functions have we not yet thought of, and like that? And we wanted to have a design that was adaptable in that way. We could not have done this at all if it had not been for a really amazing advisory board that we have that helped gather the documents and sort of were the guinea pigs for looking at the website, giving us advice about what could be improved and what didn't work. And they basically test drove the site and advised us. And there's going to be an acknowledgement of their contribution on our acknowledgement page, as well as people who contribute financially. And I'm not shy to say it has been already a very expensive undertaking for the center. We are not planning to charge anybody any money for using the library, but that means that we need contributions, especially from the industry. And I just want to give before I turn it over to David, a call out to the members of our advisory board who did amazing things for us. Selvin Seidel is right here. Eric Schuler, who's the president of the Alliance for Responsible Consumer Legal Funding. It turned out that Eric, in his role for that industry group, had collected huge amounts of cases and statutes and so on, and at least in the consumer area, contributed, thousands of, not thousands, but close to 1,000 or maybe more documents. And Tony Seaback, who's back there, who you already know, Mark Jacobs, who is the principal of Arrowhead Capital, and he supplied many of the documents that we have that were related to commercial funding. I should say, we have students at the NYU Law School who are also combing, doing the more traditional searches for documents, but they're not nearly as sophisticated as the people who are in the industry who are looking for this every day. Charles Schmerler, who's a partner at Norton Rose Fulbright, and Bernardo Cremades Sanz Pastor, who is from Spain, and who has given us a lot of advice about international arbitration. And so what we're going to do now is just, spend a few minutes showing. Can you all see up here? Is this clear enough, everybody? Okay. David, go ahead.
Thanks, Peter. So I'm just going to give you a quick tour of the website. First of all, this website is completely free. You can register by going to disputefinancing.library.org. You create your own account.
Disputefinancing.org.
Disputefinancing.library.org.
.org, and all you have to do is put that on your URL, and this is what you'll get.
So once you create an account and log in, this is the homepage. There's a lot of stuff you can do directly from the homepage. You can see the newest documents that have been uploaded in the system. You can see latest news from the industry. There's a how to use this site, which has some Q&As and also has a tutorial video that's going to do a lot of what I'm going to do today. You can figure out how to contact us, how to volunteer, a whole bunch of stuff. The first thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to show you how to do the most basic thing, which is search our database. Under the simple search bar, you can type in really whatever you want. Let's say we type in litigation and hit search. You're now seeing the 1,211 documents that have the word litigation in them somewhere. This is a full text search of all of these documents. So it could be in the title, it could be in a tag, or it could be...
That's important to understand. This is all full text searchable. And obviously, when you put in litigation, you get way too much. So David's going to show you how to...
And there's all sorts of things you can do from the screen. You can, if you're an administrator, you can edit a document, you can view a preview, you can share a document, you can add a document to a collection, which I'll talk about later. But you don't have to do such a scattershot search full text. You can actually search more fine-grained if you go to the advanced search function, which is here. I'm just going to go through one possible advanced search, but you'll see there are all sorts of different tags, and our research assistants have been spending an inordinate amount of time going through all of these documents and tagging each one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the enacted statute in the state of Ohio. How you do that is pretty self-explanatory, but you click enacted statute, and the U.S. jurisdiction we're looking for is Ohio. Go to the bottom, view matching result, and here we have the statute from Ohio. You can do this to find statute from whatever state you want, enacted, proposed, rejected. You can find case law, you can find legislative history, you can find journal articles. Whatever it is you're looking for, we have tags for content, topic, jurisdiction, country. Hopefully it'll make it easy to find whatever it is you want. So let's take a look at this statute right here by clicking on it. You'll see that on the left, there's a preview of the document. On the right, you have the ability to download it directly to your computer. And underneath the document, there's a document viewer, which lets you view it on the website. And you can actually just read the full statute on the website. Now, as you see, there's an annotation here that says test. I'm going to show you how to annotate these statutes so you or other people can see the notes that you want to leave if you want to take notes in a statute or any document. You just go and click Add Annotation. You move the box to whatever part it is you want to annotate. You select the area you want to annotate. You type your annotation in, hit OK, and now there's another annotation. If you go back to Resource View, you'll see that the annotations are saved. You can also see here there's a number of things you can do. You can still share the document, edit the document. And one thing you can do is add a document to a collection. So for those of you who've used Lexis and Westlaw, you know a little bit about how collections work, but I'm going to run you through it. At the bottom, you see there's a My Collections bar. If you click on the current collection, which is the default is My Collection, you can create a new collection. Depending on what you're working on, for each project, you might want a different collection. If you've got a case, you can create a Jones v. Smith collection, hit enter. If you're working on a transaction, you know, New Mexico transaction, there's a collection for that. If you want to add this Ohio statute to the Jones v. Smith case, you make that the current collection. You click Add to Collection. You'll see that there's an item that pops up at the bottom. If you then go click My Collections at the top, there's a list of all your collections. If you go to Jones v. Smith, the statute's in there. This is pretty helpful if you're going to be relying on the same document regularly for a case. You can put them all into one collection. You don't have to keep rerunning the search over and over again. Now, we're still developing lots of features to the site. We hope to add messaging features. And one thing that we're building out, though a lot of what we're doing is documents, one thing we're building out is audiovisual stuff.
What?
Is audiovisual. So we're hoping that we're going to have webinars. Hopefully this conference, we can put all the videos up on this website. One thing that we've already put in there is some videos of legislative history. So if we go back to advanced search, and we unclick resources of all types, and we click just video, go to the bottom, you can see that we have 31 videos in here, most of which are recordings of hearings in state legislatures on bills related to dispute financing. So we can click any one of them.
I think one of them is also the conference I refer to.
Right. We're going to have all of the videos from that conference uploaded. But you can play the video on the website, but you can also add it to a collection, you can share it, and you can download the video directly to your computer. So there's a lot of functionality available here.
What do you mean by share? How do you share?
So, for example, if you click the share button here, you have two options. You can email the resource, which lets you directly send it via email, but the other thing you can do is generate a URL, which gives you the unique URL of the resource on the website. So if you just copy that URL, you can paste it into an email, into a text message, into a Word document, and it'll take you directly to the library. And then anybody who has that URL can then, with a click of a button, download the file. You don't have to, download it to your computer, upload it to a Google Drive, share the Google Drive link. You can just share this dispute financing library link, and anybody who has the link can download the file directly from our server. That's a lot of the features of the site. One thing to note is that there are a lot of documents out there for which we don't have copyright permission to make publicly downloadable, unsurprisingly. Journal articles, unless we have explicit permission, news stories, and we still want that stuff to show up in searches. So what we've done is we've uploaded those files, and they're still full text searchable. But if you click on them, let's look at journal articles. By and large, what will happen is instead of a download option, there'll be an external link option. So you won't be able to view the whole thing on the site. It's just a first page preview. And then you can click the external link, and you'll be taken, hopefully if the internet's working, to the site where you can view the article or download the article, or if it's behind a paywall, you might have to pay for it. But at the very least, your full text search or your advanced search will show up that the article exists, and then you'll be able to go get access to it. Now, the last thing that's really important to talk about is that it's taken a lot of manpower to get the universe of documents that we could find tagged and uploaded, and it's going to be quite difficult to keep it up to date without help. And so we do have an upload feature on the site. Anybody can upload a document to the site. It requires administrator approval before the document goes live, but it's a lot easier for us if somebody else has uploaded and tagged a document for us to just click approve than to find the document, upload the document, tag the document, review the document, all of that. So just quickly, if you click the upload button, you can enter all the tags we talked about before describing a document. You click next, and then you'll have the option to drag and drop a file from your computer, and it'll associate it with that tag. If you then go and click recently added, a newly uploaded document will show up on the top left. The recently added page is also a really good page to go if you just want to see what new documents are in the system. That way, if you want to keep abreast of what's been happening broadly in the industry, you can just go to the recently added section and you'll see whatever documents are newly in the system. Two other ways to keep abreast of things from the home page. If you go to industry news, that will give you just the news stories. So if you want to, again, a lot of these we don't have the rights to, but it'll take you to a link where you can view the full article on Litigation Finance Journal or Law 360 or whatever it might be. And the other place to go is if you want news on our website, which is right over here. We have DFL News. If you click under it, here we have a welcome message, but going forward in the future, if we have updates to our site, new features we're adding, we'll just put it here. So that's a quick introduction to the site.
David, one more thing.
Yeah.
Can we steal like 5 minutes? Okay, thanks. So how about when they show how they can get notified when there's new, without having to go to our site? just through email or whatever, some other means?
So right now, we have a feature on our site where if you, for any search, there'll be a way to click a button and get an RSS feed for that search. I don't know if any of you guys use RSS, but it effectively is a stream of what's on the site. So if you use, for example, an RSS reader, it'll notify you every time a new document is added that matches your search criteria, whether it be all documents or whether it be a certain advanced search. If you're looking for, proposed statutes in Iowa, if there's ever a new proposed statute in Iowa added to the system, you'll get pinged via RSS. We are hoping to add an email notification system. That's not yet in effect. So right now, the notification's via RSS, but hopefully it'll be email soon.
Okay. So we're going to be on the, David and I will be on the next panel, so I don't know if there are, are there any questions? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
RSS, is that a program?
RSS is, so it's sort of like a format. What's that? An RSS reader will be an app. So you can get something like a program or an app that's an RSS reader. You'll be able to take an RSS feed, which is a URL, but it won't display like a website. So it's a sort of it's a set of code. And if you put the URL into an RSS reader, it will then display for you within the reader a rolling set of updates whenever a new item pops in.
Do you mind saving the question for after the next because
sorry,
you'll both be on
okay,
that panel.
got it. Go ahead.
These two people have made a gigantic contribution to the litigation financing industry. Gigantic. And what you see is the tip of the iceberg. But behind that, as this symposium, which from Harvard Law School, this is NYU Law School's center. And Peter, who has every indication of being a former professor, was a former professor. But to put their name, NYU's center and Harvard Law School behind this industry, and to put in so much objective time is historic. And my goal, as you know, I'm part of this advisory board, my goal is to try and get the two law schools to combine their efforts, and it's the first, and it'll be forever the leading force in this industry. That's all.
Questions?
Do you mind if we do the questions after the next panel?
Whenever you want to do it.
Perfect. Thank you so much for presenting, and thank you for having this effort.